I had a couple different things I wanted to talk about in the video today, but I think the first thing that's most pressing on my mind is that I think atheists are given a really bad name, and it seems like a lot of Christians, well, on the internet, not that I know personally, but on YouTube, are just thinking that atheists are bad people, or why do if you're an atheist, why do you do good things? And I can even say that, to a certain extent, I was kind of like that too. If you didn't believe in God, I thought, oh my goodness, gosh, I didn't really know a lot of people that didn't believe in God, but I guess I didn't really know what to think of it. So but I've grown and learned many things, and I know that atheists, there's so many good atheists in this world. A very dear friend of mine that I just love her to death. She's an atheist. And maybe I should say what I mean by atheist. An atheist would be anyone who doesn't believe in one God, which is just the direct opposite of Christian and Catholic beliefs, and all the other religions that are in that realm. But anyway, so I mentioned my video prior to this one, that I married an atheist, and what I mean that I married an atheist, I say it in a very kind term, and I think you can even tell in my other video that I'm meant it, of course, in a kind way. He's my husband. I love him to death, and I know that he loves me. And he's a type of atheist who doesn't really want to say that he's atheist, because atheists are given such a bad name. There are many atheists on the internet that are very hurtful to Christians, but there are Christians that are hurtful to atheists too. So, gosh, I can't even say the word. So I kind of might even say that it's a draw there, but I'm more of just a Christian who loves all people. I try to do what Jesus asked us to do in his preachings, and following the 10 Commandments. I mean, it's not that hard to follow the 10 Commandments. I mean, thou shalt not lie, thou shalt not steal, thou shalt not murder. I mean, come on, it's not that hard not to murder somebody. I think most atheists don't murder. And probably a lot of them don't really lie either, or steal. And, well, I think we all lie. Little white lies, I guess. But is that breaking a commandment if we tell somebody that their hair looks beautiful when it doesn't? Or that your butt doesn't look big in that pair of pants when it does? I don't know. That's up for debate too. But what I'm saying is that a good Christian, which I like to think that I am most of the time, and hopefully more than half of the time, it wouldn't attack a person just because they don't believe in God, because there's many ways in which people come to God, and I do have to admit that I did want my husband to be a Christian, and to follow God, and so we could worship God together. But he did try. He did read some of the Bible before we got married. He started reading the Bible, and like a dummy, I should have told him don't start with the Old Testament because that's very confusing. But he did. He read Genesis, Exodus, and Numbers. He said he got about halfway through Numbers and he gave up. And he said, I just don't understand it. I just don't understand it. And he just kind of just threw his hands up. I don't know. He went to church with me for a few months there too. But it's hard for somebody to just who's never learned about God, who doesn't really know anything that's gone on in the Bible, um, or exactly who Jesus was. I mean, it's a proven fact in historical records that Jesus did exist, that there was a man named Jesus of Nazareth who claimed to be God's son, who lived in this same time period as the Bible talks about. So yeah, I mean, Jesus did exist. Even atheists will tell you that, well, an atheist that knows history, yeah, Jesus was, a man living on this earth. But as a Christian, I know he was God's son. But it's hard for somebody to go into a church who hasn't really had any kind of upbringing with God and Jesus and the disciples and maybe even the Ten Commandments. I mean, most people would know, thou shalt not lie and thou shalt not steal or murder. I mean, most people know those, but thou shalt not take the Lord's name in vain. That can be a tough one for some people that have a tendency to swear, and but a person that just swears a lot doesn't realize that when they're saying, Jesus Christ, but in a bad way, but or God, and then the other word follows that. I'm not going to say it, but that's just another swear word to them. It's not like they're committing a sin there. I mean, it's not like they're doing something bad. It's not like they're going against a commandment, because a commandment to us isn't a commandment to them. So they don't know. They don't know. And Jesus even said that as he was carrying the cross up that hill of Calvary, and people were throwing rocks at him and spitting at him and calling him all these awful names. You're not the Son of God. They just nasty things. I mean, and these people here that were being rude to Jesus, and being not just rude, they were just being blatant and wanting to hurt him. They proclaimed to be Christians. A lot of those people proclaimed to be Christians that were putting Jesus up on the cross and whipping him and slowly killing him. And those people didn't know. They didn't know that he is the Son of God. Just like, some atheists now don't know that what they do is, by saying Jesus Christ, as a swear word, they don't know. And Jesus said that to God up in heaven. He said, as he was carrying that cross, please forgive them, Father, for they know not what they do. And I believe that is many of us in many different occasions. I know I'm far from perfect. I know I try to be good, but I know I yell at my husband sometimes when I shouldn't. I'm sure he could admit the same thing. Yells at me when he shouldn't have. I mean, I say things to my kids that maybe I shouldn't say that. I try to annoy people sometimes, and I really annoy them too much. Gosh, I don't contact people the way a Christian should, the way a person should probably. I mean, my dear friend, I haven't even talked to him probably a year. And, I mean, I moved away and we don't work at the same place anymore, but I think of her all the time. Why don't I call her? Why don't I see how she's doing? Wouldn't a Christian do that? I don't know. And there's that word again. I don't know. They don't know. We don't know. There's so many things in this world that we don't know. And we can't start, blaming other people for something that's gone wrong. I mean, it's the way of the world. The world is against all of us, and we just decide, which finger, all five of them, who are we going to point at with our finger to blame? We always want to blame somebody because it's never our fault. When really, if you think about it, the last time that you blamed somebody for doing something, was there something that you could have done to avoid what had happened? Because if there was something that you could have done to have avoided this situation where you blame this person in doing, would that not put you at fault too? I mean, I kind of think yes, and I'm probably guilty of doing what I just said today. But I'm not going to try to think about my wrongdoings. I'll just admit that I do them, okay? That's pretty good. Anyway, my husband is a very good person. I mean, that's why I fell in love with him, was just the kindness in him. It pulled me, and he's my second husband. I swore to myself I'm not going to get married to somebody who's not a Christian, because my first husband wasn't Christian either. So, and that was very hard to be married to somebody who is not a Christian and that you just generally don't really get along with. but anyway, so my husband now, he is so kind to people, and he's one of them. He's just a quiet, wise person that everybody seems to be attracted to, and just anybody that I've ever met that he knows, they tell me how good he is, how much they like him, how much they like working for him, because he manages a group home, and they say how he was the best boss I ever had. And I think he's so good at being kind, because he follows the golden rule without even knowing that he's doing it. He treats others as he will want to be treated, and he really does. He really puts himself in the other person's shoes first before he even says anything to another person. He really does have these tendencies to never want to embarrass anybody, never want to say start a fight or get in any kind of disagreement. Just let them have their way, so things can be peaceful. That's how he lives his life. And I think that when it's time for him, when God calls him, then that's when he will be more interested in learning more about the Bible. But and you probably know that there's a lot of people out there that say they're Christians, and they do things that are not what a Christian, quotes, would do, because they just cheated on their wife. A Christian wouldn't do that. Well, I think the point that's being missed is that a Christian is a sinner, just like everyone else. We are all sinners. Atheists, Christians, Catholics, Jehovah's Witnesses. I mean, we are all sinners. That's a human. That's just a human being. Being a human being, it means you're a sinner. We're all inclined to do the wrong thing. But I truly believe in that everybody has good in them that can overcome these sinful things that we do sometimes. And sometimes we just automatically jump to a sin, and we don't even think about it. We just pocket that candy bar because I didn't have an extra dollar to buy it, or just grab a soda out of the gas station and nobody's looking at me, I'm just gonna walk out. I mean, sometimes we just do these things, and then all of a sudden we turn around and we're like, whoa, I just did that. Okay, now if I can go back and take it back to them, you know, that would be probably the best thing to do. That's probably what I would do if I accidentally sold something. Accidentally sold something. I don't know if that's a real thing. I don't know if anybody's ever done that, but I bet you somebody has. But I know that this is kind of similar. I drove home with I had a water bottles in the bottom of my cart. Well, I at Walmart and threw them in the car and everything, and got home. And no, it wasn't water bottles. It was a 24 pack of Pepsi. And got home. You know, I had all of the kids with me. This is when they were little. It was 4 kids. And I was so mad because when I was unpacking the groceries and I took the Pepsi out of the car, I was like, I don't remember pulling this up for the girl to scan. And so I get in the house, get all the kids, you know, 4 little kids, get in the house. And I'm looking at the receipt and I'm like, oh my gosh, they didn't charge me. I was so mad that they didn't charge me, because if I didn't take this back, I would, number one, I have to say I stole it, because now I recognize it and now I know I stole it. Number 2, I'll feel guilty the rest of the night if I don't take it back. And I'm like trying to convince myself out of it. I'm like, oh, yeah, but the kid, I'm home now. All the kids are out of the car. I gotta make dinner here soon. Everybody's gonna get hungry. I don't really want to do this. Really, really don't want to do this. But a Christian would. A Christian would do it. I really think that what defines a Christian is somebody who can just step up and do the hard thing for God, not for yourself, not because I won't feel as guilty, you know. I mean, yeah, I would feel guilty that day, but really the next day, would I feel guilty about it? No, I would have forgotten. I have 4 little kids at home. I ain't gonna remember about me not paying for any kind of Pepsi. I would have felt guilty the whole night though. but I think that's what sets, you know, Christians apart from other Christians. Like, if you can do something only because it's for God and nobody else, not even yourself. If you do it for something for God, and if that's totally inconvenient for yourself, then I think that's a person who is trying to be a good Christian. And not that taking back some pop to a store is anything good at all, but you know, I felt better that I did it. I was like, yeah, you know what, I'm doing good today. I loaded all 4 of the kids back up into the car, drove all the way back to the store, which was 10 minutes away. Still, that's far when you have kids hungry and whining and throwing things at each other. But I remember the girl, I brought it back in and she was like, you brought this back because what? I was like, I'm giving it back to you because I didn't pay for it. It's not on this receipt. And she was like, do you want to return it? I'm like, I didn't pay for it. And she's like, oh, so you want to pay for it? I'm like, no, I just want to go. So I was like, thank you though. And I went home. I think I was just mad at the fact that they didn't charge me for it when they could have made, like, you know, $6.99 or whatever it was, and saved me a lot of gas and a lot of frustration. I ain't gonna buy your Pepsi now. I'm gonna go somewhere and they'll charge me for it. That's my logic. Anyway, I just want to make sure that you know, Christians out there that put themselves above other people, they're not being a Christian. They're not being as Jesus says to do. I mean, Jesus walked among the thieves. He protected prostitutes. I mean, if Jesus were alive today, I'm sure he would be out there in the streets, with the worst crime, with the worst criminals of today. I know he would. I know he would. Because I've seen such good people I've met so many good criminals, and I've met a lot of criminals, and I've met a lot of actually, aren't we all criminals really? But I've met a lot of people who have done bad things in their life, but were caught for it. They got caught. There's so many people in this world who have done such bad, awful things who never got caught. So then I guess nobody knows about it. Then they're a good person. I mean, it's don't ever believe what you hear. Don't even believe what you see. Believe how you feel. Like I said from the other video, believe in how you feel. And when I met, some people in my life, I just got good feelings from them, and they try to be such good people, no matter what they tell me their past was. I don't care about your past. I care about who you are right now, to me, and that's all that matters. Yeah, so I'm gonna end it with that. Sorry if this was too long. Bye.